In this video, I'm going to be working on some sketch requests from my patrons. I don't want to spend more than 10 minutes on these since they're just sketches, but I still want a nice readable image that they'll love. So here's a few things I keep in mind while drawing to ensure I get these done as quickly as possible. Before we get into the advice though, I want to add some disclaimers, especially for beginner artists. You don't have to draw quickly. I don't want anyone to watch this video and come out of it feeling bad thinking something like, that would have taken me an hour and they did it in 10 minutes. That's normal, that's fine. I'm in my mid-20s, I've been drawing almost every day since I was like 5. This is my job, which is why I have to draw fast. The faster I draw, the more commissions and videos I can make. If you don't do this as a job, you don't have to focus on speed. All of this advice will still be useful, but instead of using it to maximize speed, use it to minimize wasted time. Okay, so onto the advice. Number 1, have an idea going in. Have you ever opened up your sketchbook or art program and just stared at the blank page, not knowing what to do? You can avoid that completely by planning your drawings before making them. Make a mood board, find a good reference, recreate a scene from your favorite movie, have something in mind before going in. The drawings in this video didn't have much planning other than know what character I was going to draw, but having the characters on the screen as I drew helped not only as a reference but also to make the canvas less blank. Now when you're actually drawing, there's 2 ways to approach your sketch. For this first one, what I did was focus on construction instead of sketching. This method will help you focus on proportions instead of details. It also makes you realize how little you need to make an image that's readable, which is your priority when drawing quickly. If you can understand what something is supposed to be, that's good enough. 5 minutes into this drawing, it's a bunch of blobs of paint, but you can still understand that this is a girl with short hair and big teeth. Now I'm going to take the rest of the 5 minutes I allotted myself to add details to further increase clarity and make the image prettier. Here's where you must make a choice and decide what areas will benefit the most from the extra time you're going to put in. Here I chose to focus mainly on the facial features and left the hair and clothes pretty unrendered. I thought that it was important for me to try and capture her likeness in her eyes and eyebrows. This will of course all depend on what your drawing is of and what the most important part of it is. Now for the second approach, you could try using thinner lines to sketch. This way, it's easier to build on top of your sketch. Using very thick lines to start off may seem logical or help with that fear of having a blank canvas by filling up more space, but during the sketching process, I often need to shrink my image, and I also do a lot of exploration, which will lead to a messy, convoluted sketch. With thinner lines, you also spend less time erasing, and if you do need to erase, it's a lot easier since you don't really have to be as careful or precise. Since eventually those thin lines will sort of disappear as you create thicker lines. They can also disappear if you follow my next tip, which is to use more texture. This is the most important lesson of this video. Sometimes the illusion of detail is more powerful than actually drawing those details. This isn't to disparage hyper-detailed art styles, of course. Those require immense skill and patience, but again, we're trying to go for speed here. Whether it is to get a sketch done quickly, create thumbnails, or make concept art, using texture brushes can be a really great way to add visual interest and express ideas in a short amount of time. It also gives the illusion that you spent way longer in a piece than you actually did. Here, I'm using one of Texture Grit Supply's brushes to quickly fill up this character's hair and clothing. I could have done a plain gray fill and that would have worked fine, but I think the texture makes this piece a lot more interesting, and it also makes those sketchy lines I'm not going to waste time erasing look a lot more like a style choice. But sometimes you do have to erase. Sometimes spending time fixing something that is badly constructed will waste more time than just redrawing it would. And making that decision early may save you a lot of time. But it may also be a hard decision because you become too attached to your lines. You've probably heard your professor say it, but it's true. You must become less attached to your art. There's many reasons this advice is commonly given by art educators. Sometimes you need to start over instead of continuing to build on top of an idea that clearly isn't working. Sometimes you need to get rid of certain things. Sometimes that perfect line doesn't serve your drawing. This doesn't mean that you should value your work less, but that you should have an objective in mind. And you can't get sidetracked because you're sad that you have to cover up really good anatomy of clothes, or that your client asked you to change something that you really liked. You have to be focused on your goal and make decisions that'll bring you closer to it every time. It's okay to be a little frustrated that you spent X amount of hours drawing something just to have to start over, but you can't let that feeling stop you from drawing. You've probably seen this artist's videos, where she covers up her paintings with white paint to start over. A lot of the comments are horrified and full of "I could never," but the results speak for themselves. She is immensely skilled. She has a viral video where she repainted the Mona Lisa smile 3 times. An artist that gets attached to their work would have made the first one and then gotten mad when people said they found her smile creepy, because they are attached to the painting after spending so long on it. But Sophia isn't attached to her paintings. She is focused on her objective of painting the Mona Lisa with a pleasant smile. So she tried again and again until she made a painting that everyone agrees is the best iteration of her vision. So you choose. Do you want to be the kind of artist who stops here, or the one who locks in until they get here? You can't focus on the obstacles and the time spent and let that distract you. You need to think of the big picture, which is also the next piece of advice. But this time, I mean it figuratively and also literally. If you want to draw quickly, zoom out. Actually, you should be zoomed out as much as possible until it's time to render. I know this is scary, especially to beginners, but I promise you this tip is life-changing. If you zoom in, you're gonna focus on details and you may end up drawing a very beautiful rendered eye that's not in the correct place. And then you may ruin all your details if your drawing app has a bad resizing feature or if you have to liquefy anything. Zoom out so you can't focus on detail. This way you are forced to think of shapes and proportions first. And maybe by the time you're done, you'll realize you actually don't need a lot of detail to be happy with this piece. Trust me, next time you see a post by your favorite artist, zoom in. You're probably gonna notice mistakes or even realize that the piece is way less detailed than you thought it'd be. I love this piece by Gita Art. It's beautiful, the anatomy is great, the face is expressive and well shaded, and her earring is... Can you tell what her earring is? It may be a flower or a cross or a diamond. Now the real question is, does it matter? Her hair is a mixture of flat strokes and textured strokes. There's some darker parts and one highlighted area on the left. There's no tiny hair strokes, and you could definitely evolve this into a more accurately shaded hairstyle with sections and flow, but do you need to? This, along with the character's general aesthetic, is already enough for us to conclude that this is one of those old-timey vintage bobs. It doesn't take away from the piece at all, it may even add to it. Instead of being impressed by details, you are now impressed by how much this artist is able to say with way less strokes. And to get to the point where you can create a piece like this, you need to be okay with messiness. Not every piece needs to be fully rendered. Obviously, the more time you spend, it usually means the more detailed your piece will be. But not every piece needs to be fully rendered, fully colored, hyper-detailed, riot, splash art-esque paintings. I think some people believe that the online art space is a competition and you'll get left behind or taken less seriously if every piece you make isn't showing off 100% of your potential. Guys, likes are unlimited. I can like and comment on your sketch and also another artist's painting. People love sketches. If people like you and your art style, they'll like everything you make. They're gonna be interested in seeing how your art looks at every stage. Your self-doubt may be holding you back from being happier with your art or getting a banger post. I was like this. I thought every piece had to be worthy of being posted until I realized people don't care that much. They just want to see what you're drawing. They like it all. I'll show my friends sketches or post sketches years later and people will be like, why didn't you post this? This is cool. I was holding myself back. And also on the flip side, let's be real. The only way to create an incredibly detailed piece is to spend a ton of time on it. So you have to manage your expectations if you only plan to draw for 30 minutes. But if you follow my advice, you can make something really great in those 30 minutes. A lot of my half-render commissions take 45 minutes to an hour and they look like this. And following my advice, you'll be able to do way more in less time. Okay, that's all my advice for today. I want to thank everyone for 2,000 subscribers. It's incredible how fast this channel is growing and how lovely all of you have been. If you have not seen a video where I critique the work of my followers, you should check it out. I have some advice there that can help too. Thank you for watching till the end, and see you next time.